welcome to the Crooked Cauldrons YouTube channel. We are here once again to go through our zodiac season reading. We're here to talk about Gemini. Now, full disclosure, I do have another Gemini video from, I believe, 2 years ago, and it's going to have a bit of the same-ish information when we talk about the Gemini sign itself. It's going to have very similar information on that, but that was, I believe, my very first zodiac reading video, so I really want to kind of renew that a little bit. That video isn't going to go anywhere. I even encourage you to check that out too if you kind of want to learn even more about the Gemini sign itself. Like I said, it was my first video, so it wasn't quite as put together as these are now, which for if you've seen my videos before, they're not always super put together, so do with that information what you will. But there also might be some messages for you in that old video too. As I always say, my readings here are timeless, so you could be watching this for this current Gemini season happening now. You could be watching this years or months from now. It doesn't really matter. There's most likely a message here for you. But we are going to talk about Gemini season. And this reading is for the collective, so you don't have to have a lot of Gemini or any Gemini in your chart. You don't have to know your chart. This is all what we as the collective can do, and readings for the whole collective for Gemini season. And that being said, some messages might be for you, some messages might not be. This whole entire reading might be for you, so use your own intuition, use your own gut feeling about what's for you and what's not. So, with all my disclosures out of the way, let's jump into Gemini season. So, Gemini season starts right around May 21st and goes until around June 20th, depending on the year. It is also feminine energy. The element is air. Funny enough, the house it's ruled by is the third, which is communication, as I just tripped over my words. I like to compare the Gemini energy when it comes to the air element. It's a bit like a big gust of wind. It just poof, hits you right there, blows on through. As fast as it comes, it's gone, and as fast as it's gone, it comes again. And we'll get a little bit more into that about the sign itself. As I said, it's ruled by the third, which is communication, learning. The planet it's ruled by is Mercury. The symbol is the twins. It's a very recognizable symbol in my experience. Just the two people. A lot of times it's two what appears to be female figures. Not always, but if you've seen that, that's very much Gemini. Colors associated with Gemini sign and season and energy are bright yellows, light blues, light grays. A lot of those light, kind of springy, summery colors. As you know, or possibly know, the Gemini season right around the time it ends is at the summer solstice. So it's kind of that transitional energy from spring to summer. The tarot card associated with Gemini is the Lovers. As I said, it's typically depicted by two people. A lot of times depicted as twins or siblings, as the symbol says, but in the tarot, it's the Lovers card. The chakra associated with Gemini is the throat, all about communication and sound. The mantra, surprisingly enough, is I speak. The modality of the sign is a mutable sign, therefore it's very versatile, it's adaptable, flexible. As I said, it's like air, like wind, is kind of blowing through. It is easily flexible, and I want to use the word manipulated, but that might be misunderstood a little bit. But you think about physical manipulation instead of the abusive manipulation. That is the Gemini energy and that air energy. For any magic practitioners, great magic practices for Gemini season is truth magic, channeling, air magic, school magic or anything learning or study magic, sound cleansing, smoke cleansing. Stones for Gemini season are fluorite, agate, moonstone, tiger's eye. As you see, I have a little tiger's eye right here just to help us get into the festive Gemini mood. Opal and pearl. Now, the enlightened characteristics of Gemini. Gemini energy on a good day is curious, social, articulate, animated, clever, expressive, intelligent, adaptable, informative, and quick learners. Now, the shadow aspects of Gemini energy on a bad day, as we say here, restless, non-committal, distracted, overthinkers, a lot of duality, superficial, scatterbrain, ungrateful, cunning, and exaggerating. So that's just a little taste of Gemini energy and Gemini season itself. Now, Gemini season rituals, activities you can do to kind of celebrate and get into that mood of the Gemini season, other than just having a little tiger's eye or something out. Learn something new, find something that interests you and roll with it, or continue to learn something. Maybe a hobby that you've picked up and put down a while ago, or dive a little bit deeper into a hobby that you're currently exploring and developing. Spend time with siblings if you have them, or any of your chosen family. It could be blood related or not, doesn't matter. Any kind of socializing really in Gemini season is a great way to really embrace that energy. Work on your communication skills. As you can see, I've been tripping over my words a little bit today, and I need to work on my communication skills. So this is a great time for that. Any kind of air magic, as I said, working with that air element in any way you can. Sound baths, if you're not familiar with those, they're a great form of meditation, great form of just kind of cleansing out your energy, cleansing out your space, and really embraces that air element in Gemini energy with the sound, sound traveling through the air, and just maybe even practicing public speaking. Some of us aren't very well versed in that. Most of us aren't. Very little people are comfortable with public speaking. If that's something that you feel you could benefit from, now during Gemini season is a great thing to practice and kind of get that ball rolling, if you will. So that is just about what I have to talk about for Gemini energy itself. We're going to jump into these cards. I have these, as always, about 5 tarot cards. We have a couple oracle cards to get into. Just needed a sip of my water before we get into it. So let's flip over these cards and get going. Okay, so first we have the Knight of Swords in reverse. I hope you can see that. It's hard to tell on my camera. Well, that's a great kickoff. And we have the Moon. You have the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. You have the Two of Swords. And the Four of Pentacles in reverse. Oh my. Ooh, okay. This might be a little heavy. Let me do this too. Let's see what's on the other side of the deck. And we have the Chariot in reverse. Oh my. Okay. Hold on. Let's take a moment here. I'm going to get another sip of water before I jump into all of this. And if my reactions to this doesn't make sense, don't worry. I'm going to let you in on everything. So let's just hold tight here. So, you might be going through I'm hearing some mental health issues this month, or not this month, this Gemini season. Or just some mental self-care issues is what I'm hearing right now. That could be the overall theme of this Gemini season. You might not be feeling like your mind is in a great place, or as great as a place as it could be or as it has been in the past. There's some turmoil coming up. Maybe something kind of came out of the blue, some issue popped out of the blue for you and kind of hit you hard recently. Maybe you're even going through, maybe you've experienced a bit of deceit even. Maybe you've had a loved one lie to you recently and you're kind of reeling from that occurrence. Regardless, there's some mental issues coming up. And when I say that, I mean mental issues as in like you might be feeling clouded. Mentally, you might be feeling a little down lately, or like you just, maybe you can't focus like you feel like you are typically able to. Something just might feel a little bit off in your mind, or be distracting you. Something might be weighing heavily on your mind lately. And what the moon is telling us with that, you don't want to let your mind run away with you, if you'll pardon the expression. And what I mean by that is you don't want to let your thoughts get too carried away, catastrophizing. I always struggle to say that word, where you just think the worst automatically. You really want to be careful with that this Gemini season, and this Gemini energy lingering around, it can really help us find some clarity. Now is a really good time to find clarity because of this kind of mental cloudiness we've been feeling. You might feel a little disorganized. Maybe you feel like your space is becoming to be a little bit really cluttered because your mind is feeling really cluttered. Something along those lines. And we just might be letting our lack of knowing what's going to happen. Maybe you have some fears surrounding, this is just an example off the top of my head, because I've experienced this myself. Maybe you're having some financial issues, right? Maybe you're worried about how you're going to make rent this month, or buy groceries this week, or something like that. Again, this is just an example. And so your mind might be automatically running to the thoughts of like, oh, if I don't make rent, I'm going to get kicked out of my apartment, or like my electricity will get shut off. I won't be able to feed myself or like my kids. All these worst case scenarios might be intruding on yourself. Some intrusive thoughts might be happening, and you really want to use this time to try to slow it down just a little bit. You want to dial it back and be like, hey, again, just using the example of a financial situation. It's like, I've had money problems in the past. I've overcome them. What's to say this isn't any different? There's no evidence to suggest that I'm going to starve to death this week if I don't get as many groceries as I would like to. Something like that. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm also getting the feeling that there is some hope there. You might be feeling that there's still hope for you yet during this time of mental clutter, disorganization. You have some hope for yourself, and that's great. We always need hope to kind of carry us through, and that's what really will carry us through. That's really where we should try to focus that mental energy. Like, even though you're not feeling so great lately, that's not to say you're always going to feel that way. You always have hope that it can get better, and it will get better. let me... And I think embracing that curious energy of Gemini will be helpful here. Because another way to drive hope is curiosity. You know, maybe it's, hey, how can I stretch my dollar this week? How can I learn from this deceit that I'm experiencing, just trying to get away from the financial example, so it doesn't seem like this is all about finances. How can I embrace the curiosity of Gemini energy this Gemini season? Because now is the time to do that. You know, I'm really just hearing you can embrace that curiosity by rejecting the idea that your problems always need your present attention. That's not exactly true. Let me see if I can effectively communicate this, but yes, you need to not bury your issues. Yes, you need to face your problems. However, if you in a certain moment or a certain hour, it doesn't serve you to fret, it doesn't serve you to just focus on all the things going wrong, then that's the moment that you need to reject just looking at your problems and only looking at your problems. Try looking at that hope that we were just talking about. And you're going to get more creative with how you can address that. You're going to get more creative on how to declutter the mind, to get a little bit more clarity by just setting your problems to the side for 10 minutes, for an hour, for a day, like however it fits your situation. If you experience some sort of deceit from a loved one or deceit from some sort of deceit, it's probably not the best idea to dwell on, well, why did they do that? What did I do to deserve this? Blah, 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 that sort of thing. So set those aside and try to think of new ways of distracting yourself. Might not be the best word, but I'm going to use it because sometimes we just need a good distraction. You know, distraction isn't always bad. I know I listed it as a shadow quality for Gemini, but it's not always that bad. You know, shadow qualities do have a purpose as well. It's just when those shadow qualities become the driver of our life, that's when it's probably an issue. Yeah, you just want to try to challenge yourself to how can I look at my issues in a different way? How can I bring hope to the situation? How can I just set aside my problems for today and enjoy myself? You know, how can I do a little self-exploration without this weight on my shoulders, without this weight on my mind? Because this is some heavy stuff. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it in my body. I'm feeling it in my voice. I'm feeling it everywhere. It's probably a little obvious on camera, which is a little embarrassing, but I'm here for a purpose, and that's to hopefully help myself and some other people out there, some of the collective. So, but yeah, it's a lot. It is a lot. We have every element here except for fire. And I think that just goes to show that we need, I'm feeling, this is two different messages. So this is the moment where you, as the watcher, really needs to, as the viewer, I should say, needs to go with what feels right for you and trust that. There are some of us that need that fire under our butt, you need a little bit extra motivation, a little pep in your step. Whereas others of us, I'm just hearing you need to calm down. You need to kind of tamper that that fire that it wants to come out, but it's a little uncontrolled right now. And so you need to tamper it down and just calm yourself. You need to have a little bit more calm yourself, a little bit more emotional intelligence with yourself, to kind of make it through this situation. And you will, and we're all gonna make it through this. This, like I said, this is heavy stuff for Gemini season, which is interesting because, again, Gemini being the youngest of the air signs, it tends to not get too heavy. It's air, it's very light, it's breezy, it flows, and blah, blah. But this is when air energy gets stagnant, and this is what the Chariot in reverse is talking about. Is there's no movement here. It's stagnant energy. The only movement cards we have, the Chariot and the Knight of Swords, being in reverse. It's it's coming in as the opposite. So, or like you're moving, but you're not getting anywhere. Kind of like a hamster on the wheel. So it's time to get creative by just re-engaging the mind, right? 10 of Pentacles really talks about almost like a dullness or instability going on, really focusing on problems and insecurities. And it's time you gotta reject this, at least when you can, when it becomes unproductive to dwell on your issues and think about your problems. You need to get creative in ways to get your mind off of it, because that is when the mind can start moving again. And a lot of times that's when solutions come up, when we kind of get our mind off of things. That's why meditation can be so beneficial, because it quiets the mind. And even though you're not trying to solve, that's not the main goal of meditation, is I'll meditate and then I'll be able to solve all my problems. But meditation calms the mind and clears the mind enough to where solutions can come through, and we can hear them, and we can embrace them and internalize them and use them, if that makes sense. I mean, this is even a quote on the Two of Swords here. Listen to your inner voice when making choices. To listen to your inner voice, you got to calm down. You got to calm the mind. And in Gemini season, as I said, like socializing is a really great way to embrace Gemini season. And we can do that by making the active choice to stand up, like, hey, I'm worrying about making rent this month. Hey, I'm feeling down because my loved one lied to me about XYZ. Or whatever. Again, just random examples for some of you. Maybe I can get my mind off this for a little while by making active choices to stand up, get out of the house, have someone over, connect with others in some way. If you're not able to have people over or go out with people, connect with them in a different way, whether that's over the internet, phone calls, texts, whatever, however you can communicate with people that you care about and know that care about you. You have to make that active choice. You can't just sit around and hope someone reaches out to you. You can't just sit around and hope that things are just going to randomly get better when you don't make the choice to. We have the hope, we do have it, but you have to make the choice to do something with it. And that's by just getting your mind off of things and seeing another side to your issues, seeing that it's not only your problems that occupy your life. You have other things going on in your life other than your problems. And I think that's what these cards are really trying to show us. Yeah, because there's a disconnect between the mind and the heart right now. And I think that is keeping us from kind of putting our problems aside, engaging with that hopefulness, engaging with that curiosity and creativity, and our people, our connections, I'll say. It's almost like it's a lot of ego coming out and thinking like, well, no one's gonna understand my issues. Well, no one's gonna understand me. No one can help me. Nothing can help me. And that more than likely is not necessarily true. It's where that creativity comes to figuring out how you can help yourself, how you can bring more hope into your situation, how you can calm your mind down, kind of put your brain back together and not be so guarded against that idea. Because I'm feeling a guardedness, and that's what this Four of Pentacles in reverse is telling us. There's a guardedness, there's a no one can see this, no one can understand. And maybe that's what's keeping you from holding back, maybe reaching out to others. Maybe just talking about your issues. Maybe that's your way of bringing in some hope, bringing in some perspective even, right? I know in my personal experience, if I have an issue, I tend to get guarded. I guard it and think like, well, I don't want to talk about it. There's no point in talking about it. No one will understand. Sorry about that. My dog needed to have my attention needed to come out and hang out with us. I don't know if you'll be able to see him on screen, but probably not. Anyways, we were talking about being guarded, and yeah, holding ourselves back from talking about our issues with others that we care about can just lend us some perspective. And you want to be careful with that too, because you don't want to vent and just bring up that energy and then you just sit in that energy. That's not productive. That's not going to help you. That's not going to help clear your mind. It's not going to help anyone. But just reaching out to a friend, just being like, this is what's happening and it feels like crap. It kind of sucks, and I need just like a little distraction. I need an outlet. I need a friend. I need a connection. Like, you want to watch a movie tonight. You want to play a game online tonight together, or talk on the phone tonight, or, whatever, however it works for you. And honestly, it doesn't even it's not even so much or completely about letting your guard down with other people. That's a big part of it too. But you need to let your guard down with yourself. I think a lot of us might be stuck in that mental clutter and just want to completely ignore it and not deal with it, but not in the way we were talking about, as in getting a fresh perspective, getting that fresh hope in everything. You just like, well, this is the way it is. I'm not even going to explore the issue, because that's what the moon is telling us. It's subconscious, right? We have to explore this, and we have to. It's a reflection. Our mental clutter is a reflection of what's going on within us, and if we just automatically guard against that and don't try to address it or try acknowledge it, that's what I'm trying to say. You're not even going to acknowledge the fact that you are feeling this way. If you are feeling not so hot mentally, then you can't do anything about it. Awareness is that first step, and letting your guard down is the first step of that first step. So yeah, it's a lot. This is a lot, and I'm so sorry for everyone going through this. Obviously, it's to varying degrees for everyone. I can relate to this a lot too. But yeah, we have to let our guard down, realize that the mental clutter doesn't have to be this way. The mental unhappiness doesn't have to be this way. The hurt doesn't have to be staying here and holding us back, right? We can dive a little bit deeper, look for that hope, just put the issues aside but explore the underbelly of it. And you want to get some fresh perspective, maybe just connect with others, or just get a healthy distraction and let the mind kind of clear itself away, whether it's through connecting with others. Like I said, meditation is a great thing, but that's where the creativity comes in. You can find something to do that will kind of clear the mind out, relax the mind even just for a little while, and let your guard down. And you might find some ways to, again, it might not be fixing the problem. For some it might. You might follow these steps that we've been talking about and being like, wow, like I actually know what to do now, and like I can actually kind of put these ideas into action and like fix these problems. Some of you it might be like that, some of you might not be. Some of you it just might be the first step to just not feeling so crappy mentally. And that's fine, that's perfectly okay. Everyone's journey is their own, but these are just some steps that we can take during Gemini season. Okay, so I'm going to do some oracle cards. We just have 2, as always. So we're going to have, what am I doing? Message from Mercury, which, hey, look at that. It's compassion. Hopefully this is going to be all okay on the screen. And our final message is listen to your body. Okay. Well, as always, a lot of the oracle cards tend to be a little self-explanatory, I feel, in my readings. But Mercury is telling us we need to have compassion to ourselves right now. We're going through it. Mentally, some stuff might suck, but we need to have compassion. And I think that compassion really goes into letting our guard down and making that choice to be compassionate as well. And again, listen to your body. Again, that's, I think, the most self-explanatory. You gotta listen to yourself here. You know, that's what the moon is all about, diving into that subconscious. Your mind is a part of your body. It's all a whole. So you have to listen to yourself. Listen to what you need. You know yourself better than anyone else. You know what you can do to clear your mind. You know what you can do to bring in healthy distractions. You know what you can do to bring in fresh perspectives, a fresh look at things. And that's all this is really asking you to do. It's a lot, it's heavy, but it's okay. But it's completely doable to work through this mental cluster. I don't know if I can curse on YouTube, but I'm going to say clusterfuck. So I guess we'll see what happens. So yeah, I think, that's like, I gotta have to like cleanse this area after this. I think that was a lot. I keep saying that, but it's true. So find your awareness of the mental anguish you're going through. Dive a little deeper. Get your mind off of it in a healthy way. Connect with loved ones. And just remain open. Let your guard down. You don't need to guard against stuff that makes you feel so crappy. It does not need guarding at all. In fact, it needs to be unguarded and dealt with in a healthy, productive way, whether that's really slow moving and all that doesn't have to be fixed right away. Just, it doesn't need to be guarded. It needs to be unguarded. Yeah. And this, make sure you're doing it in a safe space. Just felt like the need to throw that out there. Make sure you're in a safe space to do all this mental work this Gemini season. I'm going to say it one more time because it is a lot. So, I think that is everything I have for everyone, for all of you. Thank you so much for watching, and hope this resonated with you. Please let me know if it did, or even if it didn't. Please let me know. As always, comment, share, like, subscribe, all the social media things, please. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say after that. Again, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time for what's coming up next, Cancer season. Woohoo! Okay, bye.